Do you hire based off experience or values?
I would say values,
What would
great.
those values be?
I would say trust is a big one. Your honesty, your trust, work ethic is important. I don't want the whiners or people who are not team players. You have to be a team player. We're all doing the same job. We need to be helpers? You're obviously dealing with a lot of personalities, but you could kind of figure out who are the people we need to weed out a little bit. I think you have to be a strong team player or it's not going to work.
Welcome to the Cleaning Journey podcast, where we talk about the real stories behind building cleaning businesses that actually work. I'm your host, Misael Avalos. I started my business back in 2018 from scratch, and I built it into a 7-figure cleaning company. Now I sit down with other cleaning business owners to share their wins, their losses, their struggles, and their experiences that have helped them grow. Whether you're just getting started or you're already scaling, this is your place to learn, get inspired, and also level up your business and life. Let's jump in.
My name is Denise Christopher. I am from Brick, New Jersey, considered the Jersey Shore area. I've been in business for 13 years with attention to Detail Janitorial Services. Started it quite a while ago. As far as my roles within the business now is managing the employees, getting into the hiring, just bringing on 2 managers recently to help alleviate some of the responsibilities. But I would say in general, everything pretty much falls in my lap, which is okay. What else? So we've primarily commercial cleaning. We also do estate cleanouts. But in terms of businesses that we service locally, offices, hair salons, doctors' offices, in terms of the estate cleaning, we work for a lot of real estate agents and attorneys in the area where we'll be called out in a case where somebody may have passed away or gone onto assisted living and they need to go through their estate, their home. So we go in, myself, my partner Laszlo, and we go in and we sort, pack, and donate many of the items in these homes. So that kind of morphed into us then getting our real estate license. So sometimes we will clean out a home, clean the home to pre-list it, and then sell it. So it's kind of morphed into a need that was there.
Fun. Sounds like you have a lot going on.
Yes, we do.
What is your percentage of the cleaning for residential and commercial? Which one do you have most?
Mostly commercial. We've been pretty much priced out of residential due to insurance reasons. Our general liability actually just went up, I think, 33% this year. We just can't do regular residential cleaning. So what we'll do is what we call either a pre-listing or a post-listing cleaning, which is a very deep cleaning on a home where at least there's some more profit on that type of work. And it's not very regular, so it's just kind of fill in. But I would say 99% is commercial. And then maybe 98% commercial, 2 to 3%, depending on what month would be for estate cleanouts.
How big is your team?
We're about 45 right now. 45 employees, started with just me back in 2012. I think so, yeah. It's been quite a journey. And when I started it, it was just residential. I was a single mom at the time and I needed to get my bills paid. Recently divorced and started with just that.
Wow. You've come a long way and you've learned a
Yeah.
lot of things. 5 employees, that's amazing. Great
Mhm.
job. That is a hard task to do. And you obviously have good systems and processes in place to be able to hold that size of a team and that size of a clientele. How did you get into the cleaning business? Because you seem very business-like, very presentable, and pretty much, I would say, anything you put your mind into. Why cleaning business?
I needed the money fast. It was funny. I had just moved back from St. Thomas after living there. Like I said, recently divorced, was living with my mom with my 2 little girls. And I needed to pay my bills. So I had asked my sister if I could clean her house for her. She said, sure, I'll pay you. It just kind of started from there. And then reaching out to people that I had, known in the area, see if they're interested or knew somebody who was interested. I had a background in social media and advertising. So I was able to kind of use those skills and use Publisher to get my, a logo created and everything. So just really starting from scratch on my own, doing, like I said earlier, wearing all the hats. And I still wear so many of the hats. Giving up control is a little difficult because it's your baby essentially. So it has it's grown a lot, but it's came with its wrinkles, I guess I could say.
Percent. And they will continue.
Yes, they will continue. Yeah.
So what was the hardest part? Kind of want to take you back to the early days. What was the hardest part of starting your cleaning business in those first handful of years?
Trying to manage my then I have my 2 daughters. Since then I've had another. So I think managing to make sure they were taken care of as a single mom, making sure they were taken care of and bringing in money to pay the bills. I had told this story at one point too. I was using a borrowed car, and then all of a sudden I couldn't put gas in the car. It's just I was on my own completely. Thank God for mom, Mom brought us in, get me
Shout
back
out to the moms.
get us back onto my feet. But, it was kind of I've always had an interest in organizing and decluttering and helping people. So I knew I could do that, and I knew I'd get paid pretty much the same day. So it was really just about that. Previous to that, when I had a social media marketing business, I had to wait the 30, 60, 90 days to get paid, and I just couldn't do that. Yeah, so it was just more about that. It was more about survival. I was also, thanks to mom, she was able to watch my girls, and I was able to start sometimes 4 a.m. I would start cleaning restaurants, work until 6 o'clock at night. I was putting in 14, 16-hour days and just doing what I had to do. And I never minded it. I kind of used it as a learning tool. As I was working, I would have headphones in my ears, listening to business podcasts and just using my time wisely. Uh, and the peacefulness of being in a restaurant at 4 in the morning cleaning, and it's just you. It was a good place to be in deep thought. What am I going to do? You got to stay motivated.
1000%. And Denise, as you're sharing all of that, you just brought me back to when I started my business because it's very similar. Living at my mom's, just kind of started the business out of urgency.
Yeah.
Sleeping in her couch. I needed to figure something out. I borrowed a car as well, which it was my girlfriend at the time. Now she's my wife.
Oh.
And I borrowed her computer. It was very, very similar.
And it's survival mode, but I always had that entrepreneurial spirit going to just go work for someone and, work and I would have, but I wanted to do this and I was gonna figure it out, and believe me, I questioned myself along the way. It's
Think we all do,
yeah, so
right? We kind of doubt it. We doubt ourselves many moments
yeah.
of that journey, but we also want to quit. We
Yeah.
kind of want to just throw in that towel. What's that one time, that one moment where you were just like, you know what, I'm done. You kind of just wanted to throw in the towel. Take us back to those days,
When I
or to
finally
that one time.
when I finally had saved enough money to get my own car, which I will not give up, I still have it because of the car, even though not that it barely runs, my partner has kept it running for me, but I just, I was able to buy my own car. Okay. Then I was able to get in a situation where I was able to rent a place, bring my girls in. And I'll never forget, I used to get paid more cash at the time. And somehow I lost $20. And I'm looking and I went into full panic mode because you needed every penny, literally lost $20, don't know what happened. And I was in a complete meltdown. And I don't know if it was just the long hours and everything that was happening, and it was that straw on the camel's back that all of a sudden I'm like, "Oh my god, $20," it was like, "What am I doing?" And it was just that complete meltdown of killing myself, working hard, blisters on my hands from vacuuming and mopping, and, it was that moment, but, you get through, you get past, and, have to reset. I always say, and I still say to this day, you have to you have to get a good night's sleep to deal with anything, But I think looking back, a lot more kept me up with worry than it does now because now, 13 years later, you're able to look back and say, okay, I used to lose sleep and dream about forgetting to do a job, the panic mode of things. But now you could kind of just let yourself know how important rest is, let yourself deal with it the next day. but it took so many years to get into that mindset.
If you would have known what you know now, let's say in those first couple years, what would you have done different based on like your mindset and how you would have felt? Or what would you have wanted to feel during that time?
I don't know if I would necessarily give up anything that I've learned along the way, even though I feel like I went through the pain and the bruises of it all. I don't know if I've given any of it up because I think you have to experience so much personally to really understand it. And if somebody's just telling you something, you're not going to get it as much. So I do think that going through it was a good thing because even in terms of cleaning, me personally, if I came in and I said, okay, I'm just going to start a cleaning business and hire people and not go out there and clean, then now I'm talking to my staff and I don't know what I'm talking about. By me going in, I was actually able to clean and see what needs to get done. Even to this day, to write a work order for certain accounts, my partner and I will go in. We'll sometimes go clean the account ourselves so we could write the work order correctly and make sure nothing's missed, and really understand the time that it takes to clean that one space. But I don't know if I would give anything up or trade it because, yeah, it ages you, it bruises you, but you get through, and it's not such a bad thing. I think that it builds that character that you need to run a business and show your employees you were in their place one time. We're not afraid to go get our hands dirty.
I agree.
Yeah.
It's better to lead when you have done it yourself.
Yes, absolutely.
And I am a believer that you got to go through these trials to be able to understand how to fail and how
Right.
to make things better. Even though I'm 100% into learning from somebody else so that you
Yes,
don't have so many bruises, right?
right.
But it's inevitable. It will happen. You will fail. Things will want to burn down. But I think that those challenges is what builds the character, like
Yeah.
you were mentioning, right? It gives us the opportunity to know who we are and how we will survive. And we'll just figure out better ways of doing it. We're just built that way.
I think identifying for yourself if you're starting or to identify what your weakness is, like even if you just choose one, like what's your biggest weakness? For me, I hated doing the bookkeeping and because I was always out doing things. So then taking care of the kids. And it was hard for me to sit down, make that time, you know? So maybe delegate whatever your biggest weakness is and take that and delegate at least to get one thing off your plate. I guess I would say that, you know, that's not
Yeah.
a bad idea. And then
Well,
just keep learning, like use every moment, don't put the radio on in the car just play podcasts and just keep learning and just dive deep into what you're interested in.
yeah, make your vehicle an educational
Yeah.
mobile, let it learn while you're driving, learn while you're cleaning, learn while you're doing things. The more we learn, the faster we get to understand.
And that's how I got my real estate license. I would be mopping and listening.
That's awesome. And power to you. I mean, for you to be a single mother and start a business. I have a 1-year old, and without my wife, my goodness,
Gotta keep doing it.
I
Yeah.
wouldn't be able to sit down for 5 minutes
Yeah.
and do any work. So bless your heart for being a strong woman and strong entrepreneurial woman and a mother and getting through all of that. That's amazing. How has your journey changed you as a person?
2 ways, I think. Of course, as you go through I don't know if it's, I guess, age and experience, you get into your 50s, and I think that, your skin gets thicker just with life around you and trying to keep up with things. I think that life has thrown a lot of curveballs my way, but it does for everybody. I think having some empathy towards people, but also expecting a toughness and you're either cut out for it or you're not. Don't be too soft. I think there's a lot of people that blame other people for their problems or what's going on in their lives. You got to look at yourself and say, what could I be doing better in all aspects, business, personal? I would say that primarily. What was your other part of your question?
I just wanted to see how your journey has changed you as a leader, as a person in your life. What has it taught you? And like what you just mentioned, it's very important to get that grit, not be so you mentioned soft, but I mention it as you gotta have boundaries. You gotta have the ability to set the tone for your team and be strong for them. But I'm really interested in the leader part of it because as a leader, that's one thing that it's hard as business owners is first we have to do everything,
Mhm.
but communication and leading are the stronghold of everything that we do. And how has that, let's twist the question. What's the one thing that you've learned about leadership that has helped you in growing a team?
The Cleaning Journey podcast is brought to you by Jobber, the all-in-one CRM built for service pros. From scheduling and payments to quoting and marketing, Jobber makes it simple to manage your business and impress your clients. I use it every day and it's one of the biggest reasons my business runs smoothly. Try Jobber today with the link in the description down below. Try Jobber today by using the link down below. You can get 14 days free, then 20% off for the next 6 months. You have nothing to lose.
Team.
I think right away to acknowledge every team member as their own person. I don't lump everybody. Okay, yes, of course, I say my crew, my team, but knowing them individually a little bit as much as you can, I think is important. Everybody has their own personal life and things going on, and that's okay. We're flexible. We always say your family first. If you need to take care of something, take care of it. But I think making sure that they feel appreciated because I know firsthand what they're doing is not easy. It's to always show appreciation, acknowledge them, have conversations with them. They're people too. And the worst thing that you could possibly feel like going, who's dreaded like to get up in the morning to dread to go to work is the absolute worst feeling in the world, right? You don't want to keep doing that. So at least right, get up, you're appreciated. You'll have a better result with a better work ethic and knowing that you're feeling appreciated and I know what it's like to do what you're doing. We've all been there. So I think it's just being human, We always say, like I said earlier, just take care of yourself, take care of your family. If you have something going on, communicate it with us. We'll get somebody to cover your shift. I think it's important. Give raises where we can, send in little lunches and do things for them. And we mean it. It comes from the heart. Our motto is we don't just clean, we care. And it's not just for our clients, it's our employees as well.
What's been the hardest thing from 5 employees team? Because I'm currently at 27 and from 15 to 20 was
Hard.
a battle. Like those listeners that have, a handful of employees, what would be something that you would like to share with them from going from 5 to 15?
Get help. I have one of my managers, amazing manager, Tiffany. She's really taken the reins for me. And now we have so the process, systems and process as far as getting hired. We created the link on our website to join our team. Now that lead is going to go to Tiffany. She'll call in for an interview and then we'll bring them in to train if they get that far. I think it's just having the system for that or you'll drive yourself crazy. I know some people will do group interviews first. I didn't find that worked for me. It's important to take the time individually to get to know anybody, to get to know somebody. So I would say setting up those systems and processes and whatever works for you, whether it's 3 steps, 5 steps. For us, it was the website link, that link going to Tiffany starting, make a phone call or reaching out to them, meet them personally. Otherwise, you're kind of just run yourself ragged and go in circles. So I think that's the best way. Hire a manager.
Hire a manager. At what point can someone hire a manager?
It's hard because, it's that whole with the business, you have to keep your accounts going, the income coming in. I say if you're able to hire somebody even starting out with 5 or 10 hours a week, that might be the best place. Can you maybe take away from something else, whether it's your advertising budget or whatever it is, to hire your manager to get that rolling to help grow the company? You're going to get stronger teammates and more organization will kind of make everything flow better.
Are most of your office staff in office or remote?
They are out in the field, sometimes in office, and I really let them kind of decide what they're doing. My other manager is more of a working manager. He's with my team at night on one of our larger accounts. So he's more hands-on. And then Tiffany will be the daytime manager, but then do office work as needed. And it just depends. Every week is different, whether we're setting up work orders. And we just joined, this is the other thing we did recently, I should have done sooner, is one of our systems that we signed on for is it's a place where people can clock in the scheduling, or all our communication is through one app. That was the other thing. We kind of had a Facebook group going, we had text going. So this way, everything's through one app. And that's really helped organize things, where I could have my managers on there and creating lists and check off lists for certain jobs. That app has really organized us. I didn't want to put the money out for it, but it's been well worth it. You save your money and the time that you're saving.
CRMs are very important to keep the business structured, organized, and so we can teach other people on how to run it, right?
Yeah.
So we don't have to do it. I'm interested, I'm sure listeners are also interested when you say app. We always want to know, what is that app? What is the next thing that we can use? Would you mind sharing what that app is?
Sure, and I wasn't sure if I was able to. The one that we recently signed on to, and we're still figuring out some of the features that it has, it's Connect Team. That has worked out great for us. We're able to put work orders in. They can upload photos. We could communicate with them where we would normally do a separate text. There's a chat. That has worked out tremendously for us. It's a decent investment initially, but I think that it's been worth it for us so far. And it's hard because sometimes, I had been looking at different apps, and they say, Swept, I think, is one. There's a whole bunch of them. And sometimes there's so many choices that you do nothing, right? You start looking at so many, whatever it is. But in this case, there were so many choices, and then it's like too confusing. And Tiffany came in too, and she started streamlining it for me and saying, let's take a look at this. So, this was the one from that it worked out great for us. So, and like I said,
Connect.
there's that I haven't even realized yet. So we're learning.
Yeah, I've heard of Connect Team, and it does have a lot of features. One of the good features that I liked about it was the text, that you can text your teams directly. And
Groups you could do. Yeah, it's and scheduling was important, because that was the one thing. At first I think I was doing beside I think the first thing I was doing was literally printing out a calendar, writing it down. Because I'm one, if I write, I remember, I see. And then I brought it onto the computer, and I'm moving little, lines down and trying to color code, extremely time consuming. And then I tried the Excel, and I'm like, okay, forget this. That's been the best. Before that, just when I was smaller, I was using something called Easy Clocker. And that was very basic. Somebody could clock in at a job and clock out, but I needed more at this point. And then Facebook groups was okay, but what if somebody's not on Facebook? You know, I got to create an account. And are they checking it? So this was really the best. What I do like, when I do send out an update, it says 84% of your team has viewed this, and then you could send a reminder. So there's a lot of nice features.
it's the best thing that we can do is invest in a system to keep our business organized. Yeah, we shouldn't be, as much as it might be easier to write things down and have things in a calendar. We
The
always have to, yes, we always have to think about, what would a $1 million company be doing? Would they be doing it this way?
Right.
And that's one thing that I've always asked myself, as like, I always wanted to prepare myself in advance. Is this something that is going to be scalable? Am I going to be able to teach this to someone? And it's okay to start. That's the goal, is just to start, do something, but with the mindset of also thinking, well, how can I scale this? Is this going to be, am I going to be able to teach this to other people? And is this the best thing that I need to be doing right now?
And I understand that too. It's like when they go back to the McDonald's theories, the person who owns McDonald's, is he out there flipping the burgers? Of course, no. But I struggle with that a little bit when it comes to small business and being in touch with your customers and being personable. And even when I say we'll go out and work a job and figure it out, I could have my managers do it. And maybe it's just because I like to be hands on and know what's going on. I still want to be out in the field a little bit, just, I don't know. Maybe it's because where you come from. So,
Yeah, it's ingrained. It's ingrained in us to want to do more.
yeah. And it's my partner in life and in business, Laszlo, who He left his job, full-time job, I think maybe 2nd year in. He's like the driving force and helps me with everything. But we'll be out working a job, cleaning, just whatever for whatever reason. And very rarely are we out there doing that. But when I am, I'm like, this is the easy part, you know? It's like it's so nice. It's a nice break because running the business is not easy, you know? We're 24/7. We're 7 days a week, 365. So,
Yeah. It
yep.
does give you a time to kind of space out.
Yeah, so it's good.
So, in order to grow a business, actually, in order to have systems to grow a business, we need the right people. So, how do you find the right people and avoid the wrong ones?
The first interview, of course, you have to, if there's any type of job history, of course, look into that. I think anybody could fake it for an interview. I think that it's okay to give people chances and see if they're able to do this, if they're able to put the work in and do what they need to do. I think it also is if they're not part of the team and they're not going to work, just get rid of them. Do it nicely. I always try to be nice, but it's difficult. Yeah, so
What questions do you usually ask to find if that, to know if that's the right match for you? Like if that's the person you want to take to the next step? Because training does take time, takes cost.
yes.
It's also a risk.
Yes, it is. One of our accounts, we're fortunate. One of our accounts is a very large account, and we struggle with this a little bit. It's a very large account that we are maintaining. It's a 44-acre site of many buildings. There's a fitness facility, pickleball. There's a school on site, and it's one of our accounts where we are there almost 600 hours per week, man hours per week, and the profit margins are actually very slim. Where I'm like, is this really worth it? What are we doing? So we've kind of used that where we have Tiffany who's there and she's able to bring people in and interview them and train them and firsthand see how they're able to clean or not. But I think you have to see firsthand if they're able to do this. Trust is a big thing. I think background checks are really important. Um, if you've been in jail because you robbed a place, I'm not going to hire you and give keys and codes to a customer's building. I don't know. It's we're a little picky. I think it's important to. I don't know. I feel like even going with your gut too. Can you get there? Do you have transportation? Can you communicate? I don't know. Being personable. You just get if you get a weird vibe from somebody, I don't know. Do you need to take that chance on them? Go with your gut.
Yeah, well, that's the gut will tell you some
Yeah.
things. It will take you out of situations that you kind of knew that were going to come and you
And,
didn't
you know,
follow it.
you're going years later and you kinda know if you get a weird vibe, if somebody's not gonna work out, you're pretty spot on, I would say. I don't know.
Do you hire based off experience or values?
I would say values. It's
What would
great.
those values be?
I would say trust is a big one. I would say I have my whole list and it's, like, just gone blank out of my head. Trust is a big one. Your honesty, your trust, work ethic is important. I don't want the whiners, or people who are not team players. You have to be a team player and don't say so and so didn't do this. And we all have to. We're all doing the same job. Where can we need to be helpers? I don't know. You could kind of. You're obviously dealing with a lot of personalities, but you could kind of figure out who are the people we need to weed out a little bit. I don't know. I think you have to be a strong team player or it's not going to work.
Yeah, we are in the industry of working as a team.
Yeah.
I just had that conversation with my team yesterday of our core values and how important it is for us to follow them so that together we can build the culture and then we can build the company. Yet being working as a team is vitally important that we in that word to our cleaners because it's natural to have cleaners that want to work individually, right? Like I'm gonna clean this bathroom, I'm gonna clean it, you clean the kitchen,
Yeah.
and it's like you're responsible for that side. But at
Yeah.
the end of the day, like we're responsible for the entire cleaning.
And it's okay to check each other. My big thing is you can't, if somebody's offended because you said, okay, you forgot this area or to wipe this or clean a mirror, don't get offended. Like just clean it, just move on. I do feel like people get offended easily, and I've seen their skin get thicker as we go on, which is a good thing because people, of course, being in the industry, it's always easy to blame the cleaners, right? And you come in when the people come in the next day, it's like, oh, this is missing. It's the cleaners. It's the cleaners. Meanwhile, they find it under a book or something later. I don't know. It's a tough industry for anybody to, whether I'm saying you didn't clean an area, a customer saying they didn't do something right, the job isn't always appreciated by everybody. It's kind of that, I don't know, it's not glamorous. You're kind of forgotten about sometimes, but I don't
Why
know,
do you think that is?
because we're not seen, I think. It's we're cleaning places that people aren't there, that's why we do try to go around and throughout the day make a personal connection, just checking on things, doing quality control or whatever, so they see our faces. Even if you're making a phone call or following even an email, just so they hear from you. You have accounts for many years, and it would be easy to just, okay, let's just keep cleaning the account and billing them, but you have to make that personal connection. Yeah, so
Yeah. So how do you do that personal connection? Like how do you create a great client experience and retain your clients in the long term?
Are you uncertain about what you're doing in your cleaning business that's not taking you to the next level? Or you might feel like what you're doing is not the right things. It is okay. That's why I'm here. I help cleaning business owners just like you get the right answers, put good systems and processes to grow your business with confidence. Without confidence, you cannot be a business owner and lead your people. Click the link down below to schedule a free call. We'll talk all business and I can give you the right steps for you to take to give you that confidence back. I cannot wait to connect with you.
personal connection. Actually, I just started having one of my managers go around just 3 or 4 a week to make a personal visit to each one. And I don't know how long this could really last, depending how big that you get. But once a year, Laszlo and I go around at Christmas time and we use one of the very good bakeries in the area and we order hundreds of crumb cakes. And we write a card and it says, "Thank you for allowing us to clean up the crumbs." And we go around and hand deliver them to our customers. I don't know how long we're going to be able to do it. And then maybe we'll have some managers delivering them. But I think it's important to really take that time out and make that personal connection. And of course, if you can't, once a year isn't enough. When we're sending invoices, we'll put a note, is there anything that we could be doing better? We're not, tell us, give us one thing. Every cleaning client's pain is different, right? Some might be the molding, some might be the cobwebs. It's, something that drives them nuts. The streaky glass entry door every single time, that's their pet peeve. What is it? What can we be doing better to service your account? We want to know because it'll make their experience better. We're not there to make their life harder. And I've heard that before. Our cleaners just come in and they just take out the trash. We need a new company. Taking that service to the next level is important.
What's that next level?
The personal touch, the phone call, the text, however they communicate. Sometimes it's easier to get somebody email, text, phone call, whatever it is. Just make it more personalized, I would say. If you can. I've seen, that's one of the things I think about as we grow. How long can we do that? But I think should be a very top priority to make sure that your customer feels appreciated and that you care. You're not just cleaning, you're caring.
That you care. That
Yeah.
you care. That's very important. And you just inspired me you just also gave me a task. I need to do that this year.
Yeah.
I've been thinking about, maybe I should just set up some time quarterly and call my clients, call a handful of them and set up a way to give back as
Yeah.
much as, right, say thank you. As much as we do it through our follow-up calls, we call it our happiness visits where we call our clients and we say thank you and we ask for feedback. But I think it would be more meaningful if it comes from the owner or the management staff, right?
Yeah. And even last week, Tiffany went into a couple of accounts and they're like, "It's so nice to see you," And we saw them in the beginning when we went to go price them and, maybe show the cleaning tech what we're doing or whatever. But the follow-up, you got the account, keep it, do everything you can do to make sure they're not going somewhere else because there's so much competition out there. It's important to set yourself apart from the others.
A lot of competition that price is a lot lower.
Yeah, and I think that that's something you have to within our ads, we try to educate, our clients on because, okay, they might be less expensive because 'cause I'll say, "We're not the cheapest," but you're gonna get a level of service, you're gonna get a company that's properly covered insurance-wise. A lot of these places do not have, proper insurance. They don't have employees who've been trained and are vetted. I just think that I don't know, I think it's important to really know the company you're hiring.
For sure. Yeah, it's so hard sometimes to even get to, I mean, on my end, we are 60% residential, 40% commercial. And we've grown our commercial accounts slowly. And that's because we have a competitor in our area that charges really, really low. And it's because they're a franchise and they can do
Yeah,
that,
we
but
have
they
that
hire they hire other contractors and they pay them poop
Yes.
very, very little, and they can do that, and it's
Yeah,
been
but the work shows because 'cause they're the people that you're gonna come in and fix their problem.
for sure,
Yeah.
and I point that out all the time when I walk around. Well, what's your expectation? What have you not liked about the previous cleaners that you've had or the current cleaners that you have? And it's I would say 99% of the time, it's the attention to detail. It's the things that they're forgetting. So I always say, well, if those things are solved, would that give you a better experience?
Right.
Would that make your job easier?
And don't you hate it, like, when you go in and you're talking to these people? I feel bad with them as a business owner that they have to deal with the cleaning problems, and now they gotta find a new cleaner because this one didn't work out, and I don't know, I just feel like it's gotta be like this on their list of especially these bigger companies, you know? I don't know, I just you wanna make their lives easier, not more frustrating.
Correct.
Yeah.
How do you well, who does the in-person estimates for your company?
Myself and Laszlo.
So what are a few things that you do or you ask, let's say that. But what are some things that you ask during a in-person commercial appointment?
The first thing I would love to ask is what's your budget? But that we very
Have you done it before? Have you asked?
I
Me
have.
too. Me too.
Sometimes
It's a
I would
little awkward, but
it is, and I would say, like, probably 2 out of 10, no. A lot of the people, depending who you meet, have no idea. Of course, it's the basics. Do you currently have a cleaning service? Because some of them never had them. And then how many days a week or how many days a month or what are we looking for? How many days, are you biweekly, whatever. So I'll just say, walk me around, show me your space. We do a full inspection. And I know, you're not supposed to point out things too much as far as like, oh, your vents are dirty, but they naturally see you looking up, taking notes. I'll go in, Laz is usually taking pictures or measurements. It's nice when they know the square footage. That helps because then in my mind, I'm already, how many man hours is this going to take kind of thing. You're taking mental notes, and every account is different. I feel like, don't touch this room, keep this door shut. We don't want in a jewelry store, we don't want this room vacuumed because there's gold flakes. It just depends what's going on. So I just think really understanding what they need and hearing them. I don't even know if it's a matter of asking too many questions. I think it's just listening to them and their previous experience. Are they new to the cleaning companies? Have they just had it with their current provider? So I think it's just really hearing them out because everybody's pain is different.
what's your go-to when you have a price objection? Because do you do the entire process? So what if they say, you know what, Denise, you're great. You were awesome when you came in. You were nice. You were sweet, but you're just pricier, 20% pricier than a few other quotes that I got.
I've heard that plenty of times.
I
Uh,
know, that's why I'm asking.
Yeah,
We
I've
have
heard
to.
that. And for me, 2 things have happened. Either they hire another company and come back to me in about 3 to 4 months. Okay, now we gotta go do a deep clean first. So, we'll do it that way, or we don't hear from them, and I'm like, they weren't our customer. Not everybody's your customer. I'm not looking for somebody who wants the cheapest, because that's not the level of service that we provide. We do the extra things. We care, and I don't wanna say with caring comes cost, but with caring, we pay a decent wage to our employees. We're always looking to make their lives better so they do a better job, and that all costs money. We're insured correctly. Like I said, we provide a level of service that maybe they can't afford.
Do you ever go back?
No, I'll follow up on an email every once in a while, but I just think we have to keep moving forward and finding your right customer. This
How many follow-ups? Yeah, how many follow-ups do you usually do?
yearly or just depending. I would say, like, if I send a proposal out, I would if I don't hear anything, which I think is rude because you've spent the time to go out and talk to them, very frustrating, but I think it just happens and people whatever. So, I would say I would do the first follow-up maybe 2 weeks after I've sent out a proposal if I haven't heard anything, saying, "Did you go another direction? What are you looking to do? Are you not interested anymore?" And most of those people respond back and say, "Thank you for following up." I've already sent you everything. And you don't want to be salesy and pushy, So typically, okay, it's 2 weeks, haven't heard from them. And then after that, maybe 6 months, say just checking in. It's funny. I just had a customer reach out to me. I hadn't had in, it was a post construction cleaning, which we do once in a while too. And it was years and I didn't think they were happy, completely with the process. And apparently they were. And I should have been kind of checking in with them too, just to say hello. But if you have the right, and this is where we have to, this one area, I know we were talking about the CRMs. I think it's important to have that as an automated follow up, which we really haven't gotten into yet. And I feel like that might be our next, because everything for me is initiated manually. To go into, okay, who we sent a proposal to, let me contact them. And I feel like there should be more of a done automatically every 6 months.
Yeah, you can be up to 60% more efficient when things are automatic, and it gives you and your team the ability to focus on other tasks that require manually. Yeah, follow-ups for us on our end, every follow-up, well, not every follow-up, but once we do the call, once we do the email and we put it in our automated system, then yeah, it follows up every month, every 3 months, every 6 months, and they
Yeah, that's
either get an email, a text, an email, text, and then it would do an automated call just to
is
kind of
that
see.
CRM that you're using?
So yeah, so we use Jobber. Jobber has automations set up within the platform, which
Okay.
I love using it. And I always talk about Jobber because it's really helped our business get structured and efficient. And it does have automations through the CRM. So it already uses all of the data that you have in that platform. So I can send campaigns. So we do automatic campaigns, automatic text messages, but I also have another system which we've set up a couple months ago. It's called So Tell Us, and they use Zapier. So we set up all of it through
Mhm.
there, and for the reviews, for the feedback, things like that. So yeah,
That-
automations
yeah,
are very important.
I feel like I I'm a little bit I like to be personal with things, and part of me worries that with the whole CRM, because if Connect Team had the CRM, I think it would be helpful, but they don't have, and I'm surprised that they don't have like, okay, this area you can do your CRM and here's your team stuff or whatever. But I do like the personalization of things, but it is time consuming. So I know that I need another system on that. I just have to figure out what that's going to be.
And a system could be a person. Like
Yeah.
we
Yeah.
were just talking about, so we have the happiness manager with which they call our clients, and then we do in-person visits and they handle all of that. I wanted to increase the value by saying, well, hey, I'm the owner and I'm giving you a call, just adding a little bit more of a taste there with that. But automations, I think when it comes to figuring out like how the feedback is going, I think it is important to do a follow-up call and
Right.
see how they're doing. I think commercial clients for us, once a quarter, they're fine with it.
Yeah. No, I agree. Because you don't wanna be a pain either. Some of them, it depends what kind of relationship. I feel like we have great relationships with all of our clients just because 'cause we've developed it and we're personalized. So a lot of times it's just a quick text. Like I said, we're 24/7, so the phone's 24/7. And that's another thing that maybe if somebody's just starting out, let's say, have a dedicated business number. I made the mistake of using my cell, like
Mm.
my main cell number as the business number, and it's both, and it's still both. So if you're able to do that, but then, you're carrying 2 phones around or whatever, but I don't know, that's another thing I think maybe I could have changed it, or I should have started with just a separate business line, because the phone is 24/7.
It is.
Yeah.
Yeah, I carry 2 phones for,
Oh, it's
like, 2 years.
no.
It wasn't that bad because I got to put the business phone aside and shut it down after 10
True.
o'clock because I would still answer calls, like, at 9 p.m.,
Employees out there and,
which don't do that.
sometimes they're working 3 or 4 in the morning at an account, and listen, they know my biggest thing is if an alarm's going off or something like that, I wanna be able to get on it right away, but you gotta sleep too. So it's like
Yeah.
we have our office hours set, but really anybody could get me 24/7s.
Well, if it's something like that, a call center would be useful. Also, a dedicated VA that could answer, late night calls. So that's what we do. We have a 24-hour call center that answers calls if there's an employee that is sick at 11 o'clock at night and they're not going to come in. A human answers the phone and then they send out a message to my VAs, which they start super early in the morning and then they get to jump on the schedule before there's a no show to the client. And that's on our residential side.
Okay.
And it's super helpful because we don't have to like scramble in the morning. It's like we already got the message and we let our teams know, hey,
Yep.
call us as soon as you can. Call and then our office teams get updated in the morning. But yeah, I remember answering calls late at night, clients, and it's like, well, it's the sale. And I get it. You're in the grind, you're trying to build your company. But at some point you want to set the boundaries of, okay, after 7 o'clock, I'm done. I'm not answering the phone. And then just putting a simple system like a call center that will charge you maybe $1 a minute,
Mhm.
but I value that minute.
No, what's the time?
5, 10 minute call, it's $10, but you didn't have
Yeah,
to scramble, get your wake up voice so you don't
yeah.
sound like you just woke
And
up.
and we try to do that with, having set office hours. We try to do that, which seems to work a little bit because in the commercial space, most places are, kinda office hour time, but I don't know, it's people have come in and there's been the ceiling, the roof's leaking and everything else, and I just feel like even with that, I have to deal with a lot of that personally because I don't know. Again, in our CRM, who's your I need to have like who's the emergency contact, but then do you have your VA and everybody having access to that? That's the other thing. Uh,
Yes.
yeah.
Yes.
Oh.
Delegate, let go of control.
Yeah. Who's your what virtual assistant, like where are you getting them from?
Hey,
So
real quick, do me a solid. Just like, subscribe, and share it with another cleaning business owner. We want to grow this community together because when we all learn together, the industry becomes stronger. Let's get back to our guest.
So I found them online. I found 2 of them online. So I have 5. I have
Okay.
5 VAs that handle every single part of my business, and a few of them reached out to me through email, and it ended up working out great. But the other few I found online, just looking up virtual assistants. There's
Yeah.
the PH where it is more of the Philippines VAs. There's also agencies, which I don't see anything wrong with agencies. I really don't. I'm not super against it. I would prefer to hire people directly because the agency obviously has their fee
Yeah.
and, they have more control
And then
of
you
the
you can
person.
you can deal with them kind of one-on-one as well. Yeah.
Yeah. So I hire them directly. I give them the tasks. I obviously get their ID. I get all of the information that I need to qualify them. And then they have an agreement to sign. Obviously the personal information, all of that, it's going to be confidential. And I give them a company email. I don't allow them. That's the part where you don't want to use their email for your
Yeah.
systems. You want to give them a domain for your business so that you can see what's been downloaded.
Right, that's true.
And it'll give you notifications through, so we use Gmail, so it gives us notifications if someone's been downloading
Mhm.
documents. And that's
Okay,
when I know that something's going on.
okay, that's interesting. Yeah, so, anyway, I guess it's, again, giving up a little more control, but I'm working on it.
Yes. I love it. The more I grow, the more I do, my goodness, the less control I even want to have. My
Yeah,
goodness, I want to give everything away. Like, are things going to happen? Yes, but I'm going to grow faster. I'm going to learn more and I can get more done using other people's
yeah,
hours. I'm
okay.
a huge fan of that.
Oh,
Like, I just want to use other people's hours, pay them for that and let them do it. And it's been wonderful. The call center, having them 24 hours in the day. I was just thinking, like, I see some calls coming in, so I get the notifications and stuff on my email, and I see the times that people call sometimes. And it's like 9 o'clock, 10 o'clock. I've had 12, and I'm just like, great, thank God that we have that system in place.
yeah.
And then
No,
in the
perfect.
morning, I see my teams already hopping on those calls and getting them serviced.
Yeah,
So
yeah, I don't know. And the other thing that I think is important business-wise, that when you can, like I said, I was at the point where I'd lose if I lost $20, I thought the world was ending, coming from that point. The one thing that I would say as you grow that I think is really important is to give back when and where you can. Pick a charity, do what you can do. I think besides it's just like good juju, I just think it's like the right thing to do to give back as you're growing, even if you're starting with giving a charity $25, I think it's important to give back. We support one of the, we always give back through the year wherever we can. But then we started getting involved with like one specific charity that's really helped us kind of see, I don't know, like where your money's going. And I think it's important to, of course, want for your business, but also give back.
I think that's very great advice because it humbles you and it gives you purpose, right? We do want to, I would suggest, start off by giving back to your team, giving back to them and appreciate them because as we know, and we were talking about in the beginning, it's best when you're the cleaner, when you start off as being a cleaner and you understand the hard work that it takes. It's a very, very hard job and it takes a lot of effort. So giving back to your team is I would say would be the a very important place to start. So how do you give back and serve others through your business?
We support a charity, like one of our main charities. It's called Joey's Little Angels. And we support them besides going and actually, it's interesting. I had mentioned in the beginning, we do estate cleanouts. So when we do estate cleanouts and we're sorting, packing, donating, we come across some really cool things. So, besides we donate, we do some of the firehouses that we clean. There's families that have had fires and they just smaller fires and they need a new dining room table or they need dressers. Okay, here we got them. So we always try to find homes for things. We started furnishing college kids apartments. What else did we do? Gosh, St. Vincent's de Paul. We bring a lot of, anything that can be used, donate. So, and of course, we always say the animal shelters, the blankets, the towels all go to animal shelters. But we would find really cool things. I'm like, okay, I don't want to be the hoarder, so let's let's find homes for things. So with Joey's Little Angels, they have an annual gala and they raise money, and it all is for sick children who are sick and their families. We found in the back of a closet, it was the original article, I think it's the New York Times, of when Lincoln was shot. And I'm like, what are we gonna do with this? We framed it, we put it in the annual gala with their silent auction. Actually, no, this was the live auction. I think it was a live auction. And it made $4,000 for this charity. So that was so we just try to like whatever, I don't know, comes your way, just do something with it, do good. And then of course in their smaller auction items that people just fill it in. I think that's a silent auction. We would find cool things and put it in there, and just it would raise money for the charity. Besides giving monetarily on your own, there's other ways to do it. Whether you're volunteering, whether you're giving items that come your way, and then the families that we're doing the cleanouts for are really happy with that. We're able to send them certificates of things that were donated. where it went to, so they appreciate that as well. There's another thing I was thinking too. With Joey's Little Angels, they have a toy drive every year, huge toy drive. So things that we find, and of course, things we purchase to donate to the toy drive. We just came across a whole bunch of the Hess trucks in boxes, never touched. They don't stink because sometimes the stuff that comes from the cleanouts, smells like mold. So that's going to Joey's Little Angels. So I don't know. I just feel like just try to do good one way or another, in your own.
Yeah. Bless your heart. That's amazing. It's like my pastor says, we are blessed to be a blessing. That we've been given a huge responsibility to be able to lead others and to serve. And while we do all that work and we give all that effort, we are being blessed during those times. And it gives us the opportunity at some point as business owners that we get to be a blessing for other people. And that's when I believe, and I'm sure you can relate, that's when you start feeling fulfilled through your business, right? Like all of that hard work and now being able to give back. It brings joy to our entrepreneurial heart. That's amazing. Bless your heart. Now, on the next thing that we've been doing is a rapid fire round. So
Okay.
I will ask you 6 questions and you will answer them in one word.
Go ahead.
Leadership. Hire for skill or hire for attitude? Best system every cleaning owner should have. Connecting. Okay. First word that comes to mind when you hear client feedback. Biggest time waster owners should cut. Give up what you don't like.
Yeah.
Legacy in one word. Beautiful. Beautiful. If you can give one message to cleaning business owners around the world, what would that be? Yes, 1000%. Love what you do. The cleaning can be the task, but the task creates purpose. Do what makes you happy. Love it. Well, thank you, Denise. I appreciate your time. It was amazing. We've learned so much from this conversation today, and I am just excited to see you grow in your business so that you can continue giving back. The heart that we have, that how God has created us, is to be givers, and continue doing that, continue blessing the world. And I'm just excited to see your growth.
If you got value out of this episode and you took some notes, that is fantastic. You're one step closer to success. Now do me a favor and share it with another cleaning business owner so that we can all learn together. My goal is to bring real stories from real cleaning business owners so that we can grow this industry together. So if you'd like that, please like and share, and I would really appreciate it. And I'll see you on the next episode.